There is an America you don't see on postcards. It's not the skyline of New York or the beaches of California. This America is hidden in plain sight, the Mississippi Delta, stretching along the river. It's often called the poorest region in the United States. The land is rich, the history heavy, but the poverty is deep. Once this soil grew fortunes on the backs of enslaved people. Today the wealth is gone, and communities are trapped in cycles of poverty. Small towns have boarded up storefronts, houses sag in the humid air. The American dream feels distant here. But the people here are not just statistics. They are mothers, fathers, children, neighbors, with stories that matter. The Delta shows us another face of America. It's a story we must not ignore. Imagine waking up before dawn in a small weathered house or trailer. The air is thick, the roof might leak, and every dollar is stretched thin. For many in the Delta, the first thought isn't about dreams, it's about survival. How will you feed your children? How will you get to a job miles away with a car that barely runs? Every day is a negotiation, medicine or groceries, electricity or gas. The stress is relentless, a weight that never lifts. One small emergency, a sick child, a flat tire, can unravel everything. The Delta's vast, flat landscape means towns are far apart. Public transportation is rare, and a car is a lifeline. Without it, you're cut off from work, healthcare, and affordable food. Food deserts are common. The only options are processed foods from gas stations. For children, the world feels small. Playgrounds are dirt lots, schools are underfunded. They see their parents struggle and learn early that opportunities are scarce. Their dreams are shaped by the reality around them. The hope of youth is fragile here, fighting against the odds from the start. Isolation deepens poverty, making every challenge harder to overcome. The geography itself becomes a barrier. Life in the Delta is a daily test of endurance, yet families persist, holding on to hope where they can. The struggle is constant, but so is the will to survive. This is life in the Delta. Unseen, but very real. And it demands to be understood. Travel a few hundred miles from the Delta, and you'll find a different America. Suburbs with manicured lawns, bustling malls, and well-funded schools. Here, worries are about vacations and college choices, not survival. The gap between these worlds isn't just wide, it's a chasm. In affluent communities, children have access to opportunity at every turn. Their schools have the latest technology, their parents have networks, and the system is built to help them succeed. In the Delta, a child's path is filled with obstacles, underfunded schools, closed libraries, unsafe parks. The system often feels designed against them. Even basic healthcare is a challenge. Clinics are far, understaffed, and hard to reach. Preventable illnesses become chronic, minor issues become crises. Health outcomes are drastically unequal. This is the story of American inequality, not just about money, but about living in two different realities. One reality is defined by access and safety nets, the other by scarcity and barriers. The American dream says anyone can succeed with hard work, but in the Delta, the starting line is miles behind. For some, the finish line is a given. For others, it's barely imaginable. The contrast is stark, and it's a reality we must confront. The Delta's struggle is a reminder opportunity in America is not equally shared. The divide is real, and it shapes lives from the very beginning. To bridge it, we must first see it, and we must choose to care, because the distance between these worlds is measured in more than just miles. Poverty in the Delta didn't happen by accident, it was built over generations. It began with slavery, continued with sharecropping, and was reinforced by systems designed to keep people poor. Families, mostly African American, were trapped in cycles of debt, working the same fields as their enslaved ancestors. Mechanization pushed thousands off the land, and no new industries replaced the lost jobs. Decades of disinvestment drained resources, factories closed, businesses left, and schools suffered. These were deliberate choices, not natural decline. Education, meant to be the great equalizer, often reinforces inequality here. After desegregation, white flight to private academies left public schools segregated and underfunded. Schools struggle to attract teachers and provide basic supplies. A child's zip code determines their future. The system fails them before they have a chance. Lack of education leads to low-wage jobs, poor health, and a cycle that repeats for generations. Blaming individuals ignores the web of systemic barriers. The roots of hardship in the Delta are deep, tangled in American history. This is not just a story of individual struggle. It's a story of a system that needs to change. The barriers are real, and they are built into the fabric of the region. To break the cycle, we must confront the history that created it. Only then can real change begin. Meet Mary, 68, raising her grandchildren on a fixed income. Some days, she chooses between her medicine and their lunch money. The kids always come first. James, 24, dropped out of college. He couldn't afford the gas to drive to campus. Now he works odd jobs, watching friends move on. Tasha, a single mother, works nights at a catfish plant. "I'm tired all the time," she says, "but I have to keep going." These stories aren't just about struggle, they're about strength. Their voices matter. To move forward, we must listen and we must act. The Delta's economy is a puzzle with missing pieces. The jobs that once sustained the region are gone. Cotton gin's silent, factories shuttered. What remains is a low-wage service economy, fast food, dollar stores, gas stations, even working 2 or 3 jobs. Many can't escape poverty. Banking deserts force people to rely on payday lenders and check-cashing stores, losing precious income to fees and interest. Home ownership is out of reach, banks won't lend, and people are trapped renting, unable to build wealth. The economic ladder is missing its first rungs. The constant stress of financial insecurity erodes hope and spirit. It creates anxiety, depression, and a sense that the system is rigged. Hard work doesn't guarantee progress, just survival. The struggle isn't just about money, it's about dignity and the belief in a better future. The Delta's economic reality is a daily grind. It's a fight to hold on to hope, and it's a reminder that the system must change. Because survival shouldn't be the only option. The costs of poverty in the Delta go beyond dollars. They're written on bodies and minds. Health outcomes are among the worst in the nation. High rates of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Food deserts and lack of healthcare mean treatable conditions become deadly. Life expectancy is years lower than the national average. Schools are underfunded, with large classes and outdated materials. Children arrive hungry, tired, and burdened by trauma. The achievement gap reflects a system that fails to give them a fair chance. Poverty also takes a spiritual toll, crushing self-worth and hope. Yet, faith and community endure. Churches are hubs of comfort, support, and resilience. People find strength in each other, celebrating joys and sharing sorrows. This resilience is powerful, but it shouldn't be necessary just to survive. The Delta's spirit endures, but it deserves more than endurance. It deserves opportunity, and it deserves justice. No one should have to be this strong just to get by. Despite the challenges, hope is alive in the Delta. Community groups are planting gardens, creating after-school programs, and demanding better services. Mobile clinics bring healthcare to isolated areas. Small business incubators and financial literacy programs offer new paths forward. Investment is slowly returning. Nonprofits and foundations are funding education, healthcare, and opportunity. The conversation is shifting from charity to justice. The greatest hope comes from the Delta's young people. Some leave for college and return, bringing new skills and ideas. They refuse the narrative of decline, organizing and innovating for change. They see potential in their home and are determined to build a better future. Their energy is transforming the region. The story of the Delta is not over. Hope is growing, rooted in the people who refuse to give up. The Mississippi Delta is a mirror for America, reflecting our deepest inequalities. The forces that shape the Delta, racism, disinvestment, neglect, exist across the nation. Poverty here is concentrated, but not unique. It's the extreme edge of a problem woven into our society. The Delta forces us to ask, what does the American dream mean if it's only for some? Poverty is not individual failure. It's systemic. Empathy must lead to action. The solutions for the Delta are the solutions for America. Invest in education, healthcare, living wages, and fair financial practices. The fate of the Delta is tied to our own. We cannot prosper as a nation while leaving regions behind. Their struggle is our struggle. We must choose to see, to listen, and to act. The reflection may be uncomfortable, but we cannot look away.